Remember a child's place is what I often heard while asking about the things that no adolescent could imagine. Trying on the pants of a man that I had not yet become, hands too small to button the buttons my father often fastened, while speaking on his dreams and ambitions. Although I could never understand, there was comfort that I listened with mention to be better than him. Yeah, be a better man in a world of negligence, pedophilic meddling. Son, don't trust your reverend. When they settle in for settlements, lock your doors, shut your windows, don't let the devil in. The media graffiti yo with relishments, money, cars, and clothes, I suppose what successful is. They say so your oats, it's natural to experiment, but don't suck and fucking run them up. Be celibate. Only 14 when I first cut it. I wasn't her first. I had to strap up and thank God for them condoms that my papa gave me. Cause a combo by birds and bees wouldn't save me from a child I couldn't shoulder. Pushing in a stroller down the streets of 3OB while all my homies asked to hold him. Proceed to play ball when he cried they can't console him. I truly wasn't ready for kids, that's what he told me. I had a rich dad, poor dad. 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 Son, never in the sense of money spent. Christmas trees are beautiful without presents up under them. Lead by example, don't get caught up in the rapture. Life is just a raffle, mostly pain with some laughter. The older that you get, it's even harder to believe. No superheroes on TV you used to see. Remember that I told you, slow down, control your speed. The more you walk with God, the harder it is to scrape your knee. I remember when I fell from my first bite. There were no are you okays and rarely are you alrights, just dirt in my pockets. Handful of gravel, that's when I realized that getting up is only half the battle. The fear of falling off will haunt me well into my teens. The moment that the world took a shit upon my dreams. Cause money is the root, and love is all we had. In fact, I'm glad I had a rich dad, poor dad. 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 I remember big bro talking about we gon' get this money, go get this money. We're from ball playing to the mall slinging CDs and niggas trying to scrape a money. Now it's 100 when I get a steak. Need a reservation just to get a plate. With a hoodie, Louis bucket and slides. Motherfucker button up in a tie. Black power when I'm swinging it pie. Going dripping with a bitch on the side. These small march on with it. Had to step up my head just to get by. Just push down. Gripping on the corner with a bag in the trunk. But all my niggas never having enough. Like what the fuck is ever having enough? We gon' keep bagging it up. We gon' keep cashing it up. I need this shit for the inner city. I need one kind in Mississippi. I need to plot it and plan it a way we can manage to stay out the penitentiary. I need a trouble for all of my products just in case the government try to get it. This is bigger than the color green. This is just selling the last scene of a Spike Lee joint, Malcolm X story necessary by any means. This is a mill on the wheel. I am a foe, never put, never seal. I got a dream, something like M. L. King. Talking about every day of the week. I'm trying so hard to believe. I'm trying so hard to believe. Kids dying, but we acting like it's a breeze. Struggling, shaking disease. We can't stay down on our knees. That's what we good at, though. Believe. That's what we good at, though. Believe. 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 that what I've been saying ain't over their head. You were the only cause I was the dead. All the police they been trying to kill us. All the medicine was bound to kill us. It was really what they tried to give us. All this drinking ain't gonna fail my livers. I'm a little bit of father figure, better than my father ever figure. All these rappers really rapping about it, really saving people, really giving back. All the pastors in the church talking to the Lord, tell them what we at. That the water ain't pure and ain't good for the drinking. Don't fix me a plate if you know I can't eat it. Seeing people dead on TV and social network and just fuck with my thinking. Get out now young with no killing the hole. No one to leave what I owe. Get I grow old, I might lose who I know. I might forget who I know. I'm a product of believe. I'm living what I was told. What happened and never I just can't believe. It takes to believe it enough. 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 Believe it enough.
What's going on there, homie? What's going on? And whoever else out there, y'all didn't say nothing but peace to y'all too. How about that? Oh, now are you trying hard to believe or you done gave up on your believing? Oh, y'all forgot. You told me what scared you away from believing. I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it though. That's our conversation. What's going on, my man? Let me give Pie Benny a call. Hey, only share it. Share it live with your Tether family. Share it live with your Tether family. Oh shit.
All right, I'm here.
What's going on?
Not too much. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear him? Can y'all hear him in the chat? Hold on. Can you? Oh, I'm trying to see if they can hear you in the chat. Can y'all hear me in the chat? Say something, Pat Bennett, so I can know if they can hear you or not.
Can anybody hear me? Can you all hear me?
Can y'all hear Pat Bennett? Yeah, they can hear.
Can they hear me?
They can hear. They can hear. How you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing pretty good. Just trying to warm up. Still cold. Rained all last night.
Yeah, the part of the world, the part of the world you in is gonna remain cold.
Yeah, the part of the world I live in is daggone cold.
It's gonna stay cold.
For a little bit longer, yeah. You'd think I'd be used to it, but I'm not. I don't appreciate it at all. But anyway, hope everybody's doing good this evening.
Hey, did you ever look at that town I told you about? Hey, Owner, I got some work for you, Owner. I told you about Lackawanna. Owner, you need to look up Lackawanna, New York. Yeah, Lackawanna.
No, I hadn't. I forgot that one.
Owner, you need to look up Lackawanna, New York. You're in New York. I'm gonna give you some homework on.
Okay.
I'm talking to my guy in the chat. I'm talking to somebody else. I said I'm gonna get homework too. This ain't you. I ain't gonna give you no homework, Pat Manning.
Okay.
You already got enough. You already got enough. Only you need to look up Lackawanna, New York, and look up the Black history in that town in New York.
I need to look it up too. I never heard of it. Black history, okay.
Yeah, Lackawanna. It's upstate. You ain't got nothing else to do. You can put it in your book.
You're selling things for people to do because they got nothing else to do.
Well, only writing a book. Only my homie home talking to, he's writing a book. And the guy in the chat, he's writing a book.
Okay. Nothing wrong with information.
Huh?
There's nothing wrong with information.
No. It's in Erie County. You know what that is?
Yeah, that's up above. That's in the sticks.
The racial makeup of the city is 83 Woo, the African American population went down. But a long time ago, they used to have their own. They used to have their own side of the town and everything.
Who did?
In Lackawanna, black people.
Okay. Yeah, well, there's a lot of places black folks have migrated to upstate in different places, and when people saw them doing well, they became very jealous of them. And the question wanted to be known, how did they do it? And they couldn't or hadn't. A lot of people sleep on black power. Once we put our minds to something and we don't share it with the world and we go about doing what we have to do, it's amazing to even ourselves what we can accomplish.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that. A lot of people sleep on black power and what we can accomplish. That's the perfect segue on this conversation tonight. We're going to be talking about purpose and the purpose of understanding who we are, understanding our spiritual system. What would be the purpose of that in black power, the use for that in black power?
Well, no, something, we use these words black power because it's something that we've been using, I think, since the 60s or the 70s, where people had that power back in the time of the Renaissance, in time of back in the 30s. This thing we call black power has emerged in a number of times. It's not the first time. It's something that maybe go to sleep, prepare to go to sleep, and then it will resurrect itself all over again. What we're doing now is nothing new. They did it definitely in the time of the 30s. They called it the Harlem Renaissance. That period of time, Bessie Smith was a singer. Langston Hughes was a poet. It constantly it resurrects itself. The only thing happens, we unfortunately forget it. We forget who we are. And when we wake up sometimes and we truly remember, our spirit will remember who we are and what we're really about, then we soar like eagles, or we go to the depth of the ocean like a locum. And it cannot ever be measured by a human scale. When I say human scale, I'm talking about whatever scale, I'll say the Caucasian people put on things because they believe, and I'm not speaking from a racist point, I'm just talking facts. They believe that they are the ones that can measure this, to measure that, measure the other. But when they see that there's someone else has been there before, has done that before with such great magnitude before, like the Sphinx in Egypt, what's his name? That old man was running around shooting the nose off the Sphinx, and because they didn't believe that black people could do this. Talking about Napoleon. So black power, that is nothing new. It might be new to a particular people in a generation. If our forefathers hadn't spoke about it, it might be new to a lot of us. When I say our forefathers, if our grandparents didn't speak about it, but nothing crushed to the earth, into the earth, nothing, it all rises again. It reincarnates itself, it births itself again and again and again. So when we talk about purpose, we look about, if we ever study our true history, I'm not talking about before the Mayflower, I'm not talking about before before they enslaved us in this country. I'm just talking about the fact of who we are as a people. It will amaze you. Once you find that pride within inside of yourself that, oh hell, I did that. Yes, you did that, and you can do it again if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, and you're right. And what I'm asking is like, so what would be the purpose? How can we use our spirituality to get back to use our systems, our spiritual beliefs? Uh, Oludamare, you call it names much better than I do. How can we use how can we use our spiritual systems? The purpose of using that so we can get back, get have that Sankofa moment, so we can remember who we are.
So okay, if we would go back and do it, they call it Sankofa. Sankofa, you go back to get what you forgot. It's only a thing about remembering. If you can remember from the age, and I'm saying that, you might say, well, I'm going to remember lifetimes ago, because it's already mapped in your DNA. Everything is right there. It's like when a woman is born, she's born with all the eggs she needs and will ever have to reproduce the next generation. When your daughter, my daughter, when they're born, they come on this earth already, just waiting for that time to mature to be able to continue the race, continue. And not just black people, anybody. You come with those eggs, those females come with those eggs already in them to reproduce, to be fertilized. So when you acknowledge your purpose, when you understand, I'll give you an example. I was about 18. I saw a book. I live in New York all my life, damn near. But I was down 42nd Street. People talk about, and I passed by this bookstore. That's when they had bookstore way before they thought about the computer. And you read. You didn't get somebody's version or something. You read a book. You picked a book, okay? And I saw this book called Drum. And the cover really, they said don't judge the book by the cover, but the cover snatched me. And I picked the book up as a hardcover, and I read it from cover to cover. When I picked it up, and began to read, I couldn't put it down, because even though it was supposedly fiction, wasn't real, but it wasn't real. So much so that when I was in high school, I was in my senior year, and the teacher said, you can do a book report on anything. I took him at his word. I opened my mouth and started to talk about this book. That man turned red as a beet or red as an apple, whatever color shade of crimson you want to look at, and said, how dare you speak about that in my class? I looked at him like he was crazy. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Because as I was educated at home, there was no limitation. You can be anything you want to be. And it wasn't something that was pumped into my head. I was never told the word can't or shouldn't.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. You got to go. What word you was never told?
Can't.
Oh, okay, good. I just want some folks to let the elder hear him say it, because we got some people that believe in can't.
Up north will say can't, and in the south will say can't. It's the same word. Okay, my father told me on never use that word, and I put a little something extra. I said, can't won't live anywhere unless you give it a place to live. If you give it a house, that sucker will move in and push you out. It's also a neighbor to first cousin or sister or brother to can't is doubt. All those words, all those things, if you doubt yourself for one iota, then you can't or won't be able to do it.
Okay, so now I have another question for you. Hold up right there. So now I got another question for you, right? So now I'm like you, me and my brother I'm talking to in the chat only. I don't even know if he's still there. But me and him, we discuss how we shouldn't use can't. There's a lot of people that like to tell black people what we can't do and what we can't be. But so now, how could we use our spiritual systems? This is another thing. How can we use that to remove this doubt that we have?
Don't listen to it.
I'm saying, how can we use this? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sometimes you got to meditate on things. Or if I take you a little further and move into a little mystic, pour libation to the ground. Speak to your ancestors. Call their names 3 times. If you know them. Let's say grandmother 7 times, grandfather 9 times. If you forget the number, it's always 3. Pour libation, pour that liquor, pour that rum, pour milk, pour water, pour whatever you know to the ground, pour libation and speak out. They hear you. Like you hear me right now. I've proven this to people. But you see, when you start to doubt yourself, they give us that biblical story where he walked the water, Peter tried, Peter doubted, and Peter sunk his ass, fell into the
water. You can go ahead and speak free. Speak free. What's up? I'm sorry. What's going on, Forecast? Go ahead. Go ahead, Pabin.
Peter doubted he could walk on water like he saw the man do. And when he doubted, that word doubt, I don't know. All those little words started dripping around in his head, and he went down into the water. And the man had to pull him back up. You have to learn to that same that you worship is within inside of yourself. Learn now. My son at the 5% would say, "You are God." If you listen to whatever who said what, you were created in His image, so that's who you are. Once you believe, is a book. I don't have the name of the author. Maybe next week I'll have it. I'll look for it because I bought it years ago. The magic in believing. If you can believe, damn it, if you can believe. If you can believe and don't doubt, you can do anything.
So, like that book, The Little Engine That Could, because that's going to be my next book reading, The Little Engine That Could.
What is it?
The Little Engine That Could. It was it's just a book.
Okay. Little engine that could. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think I can. And he just kept putting along.
Yeah, you better believe you can.
So let me ask you. So pouring libations to your ancestors and talking to your ancestors. See, that is something we do now anyway, and a lot of us don't know it. And I'm gonna be honest.
I'll give you another one. Look in the mirror.
Yeah, the mirror is something. You know, I want to tell you, a lot of us scared to look in the mirror.
Look in the mirror and stay in the mirror, and you'll see your face change. Talk to that person in the mirror. Sometimes whatever's in that mirror will talk to you. I told you when I was about 22, 23, somewhere in there, back in the day, some moons ago, I was at my godmother's house, the first one, and she was reading whatever she had to do to help this poor, tired little boy out. Because he wasn't in good shape at all. Not at all. And I looked in the mirror. A voice said to me, I use the word voice with nothing more than a spirit said, and this is what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm looking at myself, and I know nobody was in the room but me. And I answered. I said, how can I help anybody? And I can't help myself. When I realized that was my higher God, that was a higher being, that was my higher self speaking to the person who allowed himself to be torn apart, shredded apart by ignorant forces, and he didn't understand because we're not brought up to believe these things. We're not taught these things from the cradle. We find it sometimes when we're in our 20s, sometimes when we're in our teens, and sometimes, if ever, later on in this thing they call life. Once you begin to understand that, emphatically that, there's not a power upon the planet that can stop you. I'm not saying you're supposed to make noise and raise hell and go crazy. If you silently move and move with a purpose, walk with a purpose, and you know what you want to do, you can do it. You'll find me, you'll find others like myself that will give you instructions showing you how to do things to make your own magic, become the magician.
Yes. And you know, something you said when I said that the libations, when I said that is something we've been doing and we just didn't know it really, I had to learn.
True.
Because like we would have something to drink and say, I'm giving this to the dead homies. We was always pouring some out, giving some to our people that wouldn't hear, giving some to our ancestors. And we don't understand that at times we are practicing our African customs, our African cultures without even without even knowing it. And that's why I'm asking. So as we move, yeah,
we weren't given instruction.
So as we move, hold up, because I'm gonna ask, because I think I'm gonna re-ask another question. Just give me 1 second. Let me say this, then I'm gonna get right back to you. So as we move into Black Power, you can't have Black Power if you're doubting yourself, right? So once we using our spiritual system, as you say, pouring libations and having a Sankofa moment, remembering, looking in the mirror. So then once we do all that, then we can use our spiritual system to help us create some of the power, to create the power that we need, like controlling our neighborhoods and the communities like other people, because that's what we should be doing. Peace, 12 L's. What's up, underrated? Go ahead.
You'll speak it into existence. As you speak it, it will become so. That's why I can't lie. It's not that I'm better than anybody. I cannot lie. because I found out long ago things I told little boy I was nothing. And I found myself, I walked right into what I said. And I said, I'll be damned. It was an aha moment for me. So before I tell that lie, that untruth, I keep my mouth shut. If any of you, and I might refer to certain things again and again, if you ever looked at Doctor Strange, the first one, somewhere they said, we all have demons. We all have demons. It's to learn how to rise above them. Okay?
Okay.
Now, how can I say? I'm a kid at heart, okay? And a big kid at heart. As long as you maintain the child in you, little girl, if you're a woman, the little boy, if you're a guy, as long as you keep that little person alive and kicking of optimism and asking what you might think is stupid questions, silly questions, because there are none, as long as you can keep that person alive and never think you have to outgrow that person and think, oh, I'm grown, as long as that little person is kicking inside, you'll be good. You'll be real good.
Okay.
You'll be good to go. But the moment you decide you're grown, I'm a grown man or I'm a grown woman, then you put that imagination, all the things that go along with that inspiration of that imagination of that little boy or little girl. You say, get out of here because I don't need you no more. And when you do that, that's when you need them most.
You know, that must be why little kids love me, because little kids, man, little kids love me, and I don't know why. Somebody told me it's because I'm a child at heart.
You are a big kid.
They said I never let little man. If I'm out here with some little kids, it could be me, you, and the grown folks can be sitting around talking, and some little kids, 5, 6, 7, 8, come up. Man, let's go play some kickball. Let's go jump some rope. I'm gonna go hang with the children for a little while.
You know why? I'm gonna tell you something. They will teach you. They just came from the realm of spirit, and they're not dirty and smudged up. They don't have an opinion. They have to be taught opinion. They have to be taught how to be racist. They have to be taught all the ignorant things that people walk around shrouded in like they're somebody. They don't know anything about it. They have to be taught. So they're actually teaching you the purity of a human soul.
So you saying somebody taught my little grandkids and they friends to know how to cheat, because they try to cheat on me in kickball because I ain't gonna let them win.
Well, yeah, they're learning. They come in slick. They come in smart. Kids come here smart, man. I told a friend of mine in Nigeria, I said, man, be careful what you say in front of your child. He said, yes, Bob. I mean, yes. I said, okay. I said, I'm telling you something. Here's the one little one I was talking about is 4 years old. He said, Baba, you did not lie. I said, what about it? He said, that little one can tell me things that happened when he was in the cradle. Things I said and did. I said, how old is he? He said, he's 4. I said, okay. I said, I told you. Be mindful. Be mindful. And for those who don't have children, going to have children, or whoever out there is listening to my voice, be mindful. Because I remember everything that happened to me from the time I was about 6 months or more, or I should say less, right on through, clippity-clop. Let's do that like a horse. Clippity-clop. I remember. When I tell you I remember, I remember.
And you say that spirit.
Yeah. Because I was a little boy, I tell you, I was about 4 or 5 years old, and I was running, playing, and I stopped. And I looked up at the sky. Nobody was with me. I looked at the sky and I said, never let me forget what it is to be a little boy. Now, I didn't address anybody. I didn't call anybody's name. Nothing like that. I had the good sense to look up at the sky. It was a clear day. It was blue sky and a few clouds. I remember it well. I had a little t-shirt on and my shorts. It was in the summer. And I looked up at the sky and I said, please. I don't even know if I said please, but I said, never let me forget what it is to be a little boy. Sure did. I remember that day. And nobody prompted me. Nothing, because nobody was with me. I was running. I don't know where I was going, but I was running somewhere, and I stopped. And I remember where I was too. I could take you to that place to this very day. I took you if we were in Manhattan together. I said, "This is where I used to live. I was right here, and this is where I stopped and looked at the sky."
So if anybody have any questions for Baba, y'all can put them in the chat. Or if anybody want to come up here and speak to him as we speak about our spirit, our a spiritual awakening and the purpose of it, and how can we use it toward the things that we need practicing our spiritual systems, and in the process of us saying our spiritual systems. I'm gonna let you know, Baba, me and Baba, we don't speak against anyone's religion, Christian,
Never,
Muslim, and none of
never
that.
had.
We are not teaching. We are not preaching. We are not talking against any of your belief system at all. That's not what we're doing. So, if you have one of those religions, a part of the Abrahamic faith or whatever it is, you're more than welcome over here, and we don't want you to feel uncomfortable. We want you to be
I'll simply
comfortable
say,
here with
I'll
your
simply
people.
say that be dedicated to what you believe. Unless, if I say something and you will question me, and you might not believe anything I say, that's okay. I will simply say, as folks would say, I too, I don't say this with sarcasm or trying to be a joke. I was raised in the church. My grandmother, I was her shadow. From the time I was a little boy, I was her shadow. My parents didn't go that much, but although they knew. But sometimes when you get older, whatever life has given you, you find yourself clinging more to certain beliefs. And my grandmother, God rest her soul, she believed. And like I said, I was her shadow. I would go to church and I didn't have to go to church because I was like, 16, 17, 15. I didn't have to go if I didn't want to. But I would always accompany my grandmother to church. I'd walk my grandma. She was the mother of the church. I would accompany her to the seat that was designated for her to sit down in, and I'd politely walk my behind right back and sat with everybody else.
Well,
I could just,
I hear a lot of us saying we were raised in the church. For me, I wasn't raised in the church. I went on Easter every year though because I knew they was gonna have an Easter party. but,
yeah. But
but
this is something that you did, and I didn't have a vote. I didn't have a vote. You know, those did you want to? And when I thought I could have a vote before, I was like, go ahead. And I was telling what they were all. It was because I started to see the politics of the church and all who was doing what and how. And he said, never mind that. You just go for yourself.
yeah,
And and that again, I did not have a vote. My father's God incarnate in flesh on the planet to me. I was not playing with him, and no, he wasn't playing with me. But see, things are different now. You can call 911 or who 311 or whatever you want to call. I had nobody to call because if I stepped out of line, if this and I had nobody, no business doing, crucifixion time was coming, and that was on my mind. So therefore, I knew things not to do because I wasn't about to get beat on. Because that one was how can I say, covered a whole lot of stuff. Might have passed through my mind, might have thought about it, whatever. But you can hurt me believe I never reacted on it. Never ever. Some of my friends, they were getting girls pregnant, whatever, like it was a hobby or something to do. I knew that was something I had better not try to do. Period.
yeah,
Now, how you say, have a life in me? Yeah, life and wanted to know, wanted to touch it, wanted to see it, all that other good stuff like anybody else. But I knew what I had better not do. I
yeah,
disciplined me.
yeah.
So,
I didn't want a lot of kids all over the place either.
mm-mm.
Said it ever since
So
I was little.
in terms of the religions, I mean, people have asked me what happened. Why am I this? I said, because, people, you learn as you go. What's good for you and maybe not good for me. I'm not afraid to find out. Was I testing the waters? Maybe, but not really. Everybody has a path. It's up to you to follow the path. Some of us stop at a certain point and want to know, well, how come that guy is so far ahead? Well, this, that, and the other. Because they dare to believe. They dare to dream. They dare to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm not saying you got to take drugs because somebody take drugs and somebody's high. But some things you're going to have to find out the reality of it and realize what is and what isn't. But if you're locked up in fear, all that you want to know about your African spirituality or black spirituality, whatever word you want to use. If you're locked in a certain place and you don't use a key of curiosity, or whatever keys you have to use to knock on doors or put the key in the lock and turn that tumbler to see, dare to dream, dare to see what it is. That's not being rude, disrespectful. Something's over there. If you're locked up in fear, you're not going to ever find it. I simply tell you, if you're locked up in fear, you're not going to ever find it. And some of us have been locked up in fear from the time we got here. Good.
Does fear and doubt go together?
Yeah. They'll tell you something, don't do. I can really get into it, but it's not. I don't want to skip all over the place, but you're told not to do something. You don't do until you get to a certain age. Sex is a part of life. You're told not to. You don't do this, girls. You don't do this. You don't do that. Boys, you don't. And all of a sudden, you pass that point of doubt, and the hormones start kicking and jumping and squealing, and you can't help yourself. And you might say that, and I ain't saying to be funny. You can't help yourself. Okay? Mm-hmm. You cannot help yourself at all. And you find yourself in that world. You say, oh my God. Listen, they didn't tell me don't do this, don't do that. I got to be careful, so and so. It's following life. Some of us will get caught in a situation. Some of us won't. It depends upon how you go about your program. And what you call a child being a mistake, ain't no mistakes. Ain't no accident. That little person's supposed to come by and through you. It's society that says what you should and should not do. And that same society is the same one that keeps you in check, where you cannot live your full potential as a black person in this place called America. It's that's what stifles you. Listening to people like that. It stifles you. Simple as that. You might want to be a hustler. What's a hustler? Somebody get out there, get some what do you call some caps, some hats, whatever the case. Where you get that from? Oh, you don't tell your secret. And you start to say, well, can I have one? Can you get me one? Yeah, how much is it? Oh, this one is $15. Oh, I like that now. Buying all the money they can find. And all of a sudden you find that you're an entrepreneur selling things to people. You're a business person. Sometimes you find the wrong thing to sell to people and you get yourself jammed up. You don't have to go there. But other things you find yourself, and it's the same energy selling one thing as it is to sell something else. Same energy. Same rap. I forget there was a guy on YouTube and he was talking about, they were talking about Bitcoin and he was a hustler. And I don't remember how but he was a hustler. And he hustled and hustled and hustled. No matter what you do, you have to hustle. If you're going to sell bean pies, apple pies, whatever, you got to be that entrepreneur.
Yeah, you got to have that spirit.
Yeah, you're going to be rejected. And I learned that. I got my schooling of how to be that hustler, that entrepreneur, when I worked at the airport. I was working at LaGuardia Airport as a sky guide. And many people going to tell you, they don't have it there now, but there are many people tell you, no. You go to the next, and them quarters and them dollars at the end of the day, they add up. So by the time I got into a store where I was selling metaphysical things, I wasn't afraid of talking to people. Like now, I can talk to anybody. I'm not afraid to talk to you. Ask me a question, I'll tell you what I know. I'll tell you the truth and find out. But if you have fear of being rejected, then you're not going to go so far. If you have fear.
Okay, if someone in the chat have a question, I'm not sure. I think I can answer this one, but we want to know why are men of our leaders black leaders are Masons, like Masons and the Easter Stars are big among black elites. I don't know if that's pertaining to what we're discussing.
Okay. The Masons is a secret society. You have to be invited in. Everybody's not going to be invited in. They have a black and they have white. It's funny thing you brought that up. My son and I were talking about that today. The white is so far ahead of the black. The black knows parts of it, and they have to be invited in to go further. You have to understand certain things about Judaism, okay, to become a Mason, Eastern Star, because there are different secrets, different things that you don't normally find out, say, on the street or in conversation, okay, and they have to teach you these things. Now, we talk about Jews and what have you, but there's a man that talked about the real Jew. The real Jew? The real Jew is a black person. Those are the Jews of God. Jews and Jewishness and just the same J-E-W. We are the true Jews. Okay? Because nobody out in the desert was white. Nobody was out there that could live. And we don't want to talk about racism and whatever, but let's deal with the facts and the truth. Like I said, once you know who you really are, forget names, who you really are, it's not a power on the planet that can stop you. But that links again into that, what you call the Masons and what have you, because there's certain things that people have the knowledge of. I think it was a young lady last week talked about, I can't remember exactly how she phrased it, but we've taught them, and they took all our stuff from us. Therefore, we don't know who we are. They won't teach us anymore about who we are. We have to find it out by dreaming, as we're talking now. And it's up to each and every one. If you want to, okay, does he really know what he's talking about? Well, I said, yeah, I know. I might even be tested. I said, fine. I don't mind. And if I come up with, if you test me with something or ask me something I don't know, I'm going to go find out. Because I'm not a book of knowledge. I'm not a book of knowing everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are the true Jews. We are the black people.
Oh, you think we okay? I was just wondering. We are the Jews.
We are.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I listen. If the facts are true, that the Jews were in the desert, and the sons of Abraham and all those people, Pharaoh and what have you, those are black people. You see the Hasidic Jew, they call them whoever they are, and they got they're dressed up in black. I don't know if they got them in the south or they got them in the north. And they got that little curly Q or little hair hanging on the side of the head. That is where they got that from, and they got that from Egypt. What really tuned me in some years ago, I went to a new guy who was Jewish, and I paid my respects and went to a funeral. At the end of the prayer, they talked. They said, Amen. I said, what? Amen. That's Amun-Ra. That's Egypt. They have not let loose the shackles of where they came from. But yet until everybody of what we know Jews be like pieces of ivy, white as new driven snow, we are the Jews. We can stand the sun. They went all over into Africa to build up Europe, definitely to build up the United States, and took away everything we had and made us ignorant to who we are. And they made damn sure you can't read. After Nat Turner turned around what he did in Egypt and in Virginia, because he could read, it was against the law to teach your behind how to read. They really want to dumb you down.
Yeah, they do. But okay.
And still.
So let me ask you, right? So let me ask you a question. And I really don't get off into the Jewish thing too much. And I can explain to you why. Because like my ancestors come from West Africa, West and Central Africa. Like I said, like my great grandma.
Yep.
So
yep.
So what I'm gonna say is right. And I understand what you're saying. Amun-Ra, That's come. Amen. You're right. You can say Amen, Amun, Aman. All that it come from. It's the same thing. Come from Egypt. I absolutely agree. And when you said you met Dr. Ben was he was an yeah, he was an Ethiopian Jew. Yes, of course.
Right.
Of course,
right,
I know.
Right.
Of course, yeah, I know yes, I know they're black Jews, right? So with being a black Jew, right? So how would that like fit into the African spiritual system? I'm just asking, because I want to know.
Because okay, they share secrets and similarities. I had a question one time about Jews. I'm like you, because I have a lot of questions. And when I asked the question, for whatever reason, when I asked that question, the Creator somehow pops up in my face, just like that. And I was asking a person of Jewish belief about Jews, and they didn't have an answer for me. Didn't they have it on television? They're Chinese Jews, there's Jews all over, not just the ones from Europe. That is not a particular race, it's a particular belief. But then they showed the ones they had in South Africa. They had black Jews in the United States, right here. But they had Jews that were in South Africa.
You talking about the Lumber tribe?
I don't remember what tribe, but I know they were talking. He was talking to a European Jew, and they were talking about. I don't remember when they circumcise a person. The white ones, they do that on the 8th day, and the one in Africa, so we sometimes do it on the 8th year. It was different in certain ways they would do, but they had similar beliefs. Might be a little different. So the European just said that makes you more Jewish than myself. So he had to be polite and had to be polite about the fact that he wasn't taking the pictures, and he understood what was going on. And he said, no, not really. And he had, he was polite. He politely explained it. But you have Jews in Africa. We talk about West Africa. We talk about the Benin. We're talking about Ghana. We're talking about Nigeria. And the systems are so intertwined. They might not call themselves, say, Jews per se, but they share so much. Okay? Yeah. It's only when people go in, the European has gone into places and divide and conquer. It goes into places where people have gotten along forever. It's like Palestine and I think it's Palestine and what is it, in India. Might be using the wrong word, but anyway, he divided India into two different parts. One is Hindu and one is Muslim. That's what the British did.
Yeah, Indians and Indians and Pakistanis, they're basically
you're right.
Yeah, they the same. They the same people. But let me
people.
So let me ask you, right? So let me ask you, right? See, this is the rabbit hole we finna go down with the Jews, right? Because like I said, I don't get into this because it bothers people. But what I'm gonna say is right, like, so with Dr. Ben being from Ethiopia, and he say he's like a Jew, right? And he say being a Jew or being Hebrew or whatever, he said it's more of a culture. So when you said we did the same thing, we did the same things all over the continent. Yeah, because we traveled all over the continent. We traveled all over.
No boundaries.
Yeah,
no boundaries.
We traveled. Our people traveled all over the world. So like,
really,
when they do the Lumber tribe, right? Just from my novice studies, because I tell anybody I'm a novice. Those are some of the people that left out of Africa, come back from Europe, and some come back, and they come back with some European with some European DNA. So, like for me, right? I think when a lot of people say Jew, I believe they think being a Jew is special. I just say I'm African, man. I'm just being honest with you. I don't.
They do that to differentiate, again, to divide and conquer.
No, but what I'm saying is, I'm talking about when I hear a lot of black people say we're the Jews. I believe they think it's like, I just say I'm African. And I'm not knocking. I know there were black Jews. I believe. I'm not knocking. I just say I'm. I just say I'm African, right?
I hear you.
Like I'm okay. I'm gonna give you an example for me, right? Like I know my grandparents on both sides were literally my great grandparents rather were born into slavery.
Right.
Uh, my great grandmama was born. This is my mama's side, 1853, right? And the only thing that I would know what we are from the area that's called the Congo today.
Okay.
So I just say we African. And do I believe they're black Jews? Yes. Do I believe some black people when they say they are Jews? Yeah, because I heard Dr. Ben talk about it. So I can't deny that because I believe black people came here from everywhere. So I'm not saying ain't nobody. No, that's I don't want nobody to think I'm trying to disrespect what they believe. That's not what I'm saying. But I just want to know. But why I'm going to ask you a question next. But I really want to know how that knowing we're the Jews gonna when we're talking about Black Power and I was saying Kofa moments and straightening up our communities and everything. How is it about knowing that we are the Jew? Or you explain how is that going to work for us inside of this African spiritual realm that we're working and building our communities and everything?
It's not going to work no more than the fact. Okay, the word as we say Jewish or Jewishness or what they or as we start off saying about the Masons to have this knowledge. If we have it as a group, if we have it as a neighborhood, as we have it as a whole, say a whole bunch of us, if we have it and move with it, okay. But it's almost like if with this knowledge becomes like we were so like we were rebelling, that becomes an insurrection, a wealth of knowledge, because somebody's going to say something and somebody's going to want to upset the fact that somebody's always upsetting what you know and what you're doing. And when that happens, they put fear. It's like that's when they start to lynch, they start to murder, they do everything in their power to disrupt a movement, a thought, an idea of a people. The rebels start. You look at Tupac, what they do to him. Look at Biggie. They're talking about music. They messed that up or tried to. They infiltrate and the killing of Malcolm and whoever did Martin and Medgar Evers. Anytime people rise up and say what they are, what we're talking, and there's a conversation about them. You had J. Edgar Hoover wanted to know all about these people. The powers that be tear you down. But again, the truth will rise again and again. It's going to be with so much tearing down anybody going to do before the truth is known. And then people start going crazy. And then the powers that be from wherever it becomes crazy. It really does.
So
that's why sometimes what you know you sometimes have to keep to yourself. And you say, well, how do they get there? I'll give you an example. Adam Clayton Powell Jr. He was about 2 or 3 heartbeats away from the presidency of the United States. I don't know if you probably heard him about this, even though he's from the North. He looked like a white man, but he wasn't. Same with Thurgood Marshall. Thurgood Marshall was appointed to the Supreme Court by Eisenhower. And Eisenhower thought he was doing something real cute, smart, because Thurgood Marshall had what you call good hair. Looked like a white boy, but Thurgood Marshall let him know, I'm just as black as the blackest piece of coal you got, pipe from the mines. And stayed there because he couldn't stay on. I think he passed away in office. So shortly after he passed away. Then you had a guy who was around the same time as Clinton, Ron Brown. For some reason, his plane crashed into a side of a building, side of a mountain. When we rise to a certain point, they do what they can. And if we do not believe, I say this, we do not believe in the spiritual powers that be. That's why So many people go to Africa to get, I say, blessings. That's why Obama went to get blessings. That's why different musical entertainers, Queen being her husband, went to Africa to make sure they have protection. That's why when you go back to the source and you mix and you mingle, they can't really tear you down like that. That's why with Fidel Castro, he didn't leave here this earth until it was time for him to go. They tried many times to get rid of him. Many times they tried to kill Castro.
Hey, let me see, because it's a couple rabbit holes I don't want to go down. So, but one, I don't know if I'm gonna ask you a question because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. We talking about African spirituality. Hey, look. So I'm gonna say this before I ask. But one, no, wait a minute, Pop. I know. Let me say this before, because I'm gonna ask his question. I'm messing with him. I'm gonna ask his I'm gonna ask his question. But speaking of masonry, right? If we have a problem with masonry come from Africa as well. Now I'm gonna ask it for you, Bwana. I'm gonna ask it for you. I'm just messing with you. Masonry and all of those societies come from Africa, and from my understanding, in people who I know that's a part of those organizations, and I'm going to be honest with you, if I had known then when I was younger, and I'm just being honest, if I had known when I was younger, in my early 20s, the connections that those people have, I would have been a Mason in all honesty, if I had known and had studied. Because then when you study the connections they have and you study the history of what Black people have done in this country, when you talk about we had hospitals and we had grocery stores and we had all that, that was the purpose. That's what we used them for connections. And back then they were using them to build our communities. And that's what I just wanted to say about masonry. Now, Bwana had a question. Bwana want to know if you believe he's a Native American. If we are Native Americans.
Well, I believe that.
Yeah.
Well, I can simply say, okay, Native American is believed they came from across from Asia. Okay, and most of us over here, if you look at the Asian, and everybody, once you move to a certain place and you stay there for a certain amount of time, and you use a word, but you breed or you cohabit or whatever you want to call it with a certain group over and over, you're going to change your features. You're not going to maintain the same. Many African American or many Black Americans have Native American blood.
They're through slavery, but go ahead.
Yeah. Listen, when I found out that my grandmother, same grandmother, I was her shadow. When I found out, and she didn't tell me, I had to find out from my other family members after the fact. Not that she was hiding, I don't know if she knew it or not, but that her grandfather owned her grandmother, and he was a Jew.
That explains a lot of the Jewish names, like Brown. That's one of them. That's just one Jewish. That explains a lot of the Jewish name that Black people have. Let me say
this to you. And talk about DNA. I have a cousin. Let's say we're 50, we're 60, we're 70, whatever age we are. Her hair is black, just like she was when she was a younger woman. My daggone head is white. Okay? And it was black at one point. Okay? Uh-huh. But we had different mother. In other words, I should say, she's my cousin because her mother and my father were first cousins. I guess that's making us second cousins. But we had different ancestors. My mother was from the American. Her mother was Caribbean. My father, okay, is Caribbean. And anyway, back and forth. But usually you take a lot of things from your mother's side, the matriarchal side. And like I pulled and jerked and pulled and jerked. Life pulled and jerked me, should I say, to find out about my Caribbean ancestry. to be able to feel comfortable eating mango, eating yam, do this, do that, do the other, because all that was done to me, and I go back at it again and again, was done to me by my American people spiritually. Where they try to put me in a hole, you talking about the rabbit hole? They won't be willing to put me under the rabbit hole. Why? I have no knowledge. Again, reincarnation. We know people from other incarnations, and we come back here challenged in this one.
Okay.
That's why they talk about in Catholic religion, original sin. We all come here, they say, through sin. We all come back here through different situations, and certain things are waiting for us when we leave our mother's womb. There's certain curses, they call it ancestral curses. There's certain things that are waiting for you once you take that breath of air outside of your mother's vagina and her womb. They're here to greet you.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what to do, if the people around you don't know what to do or to believe in it, you walk full ahead and walk all into that mess all through your life. Sometimes you never gain your purpose. You got to go back again and hope to God you come back to people with knowledge, or you find your way. And that's what I did. I had to find my way.
Yeah. So let me say this, then we can give a closing statement, because we've been on here about an hour now, so it's almost time to go. So let me say this. Hey, Ram in the Bush, you do know a white man, literally a white man from the United States, created the 12 tribe chart. The Hebrew Israelite chart, please don't, because a white man created that chart. I'm just letting you know that was a chart that was just made up. There's a chart that some white dude just made up, and black people follow it. We can, if you don't believe me, you can look it up. I just wanted you to know that much. But see, it's been about an hour, and we got away from the topic. We started talking about everything, and we got away from African spirituality for the most part.
But it's all related.
Huh? Because I don't see, like, okay, you say it's all related, but like when we talk about, I don't see how, this is just me, so you can explain. I don't see how Native Americans, I don't see how that is related to if we discuss and trying to get back to our African ancestry, studying our African ancestors, our African spirituality.
Okay, let me say this to you. We can, once we accept the fact of our African ancestry, what they still do in Africa, libation is one, sacrifice is another. Sacrifice with animals, live animals, you sacrifice to the deity. Once we start to move on that and understand that we need Eshu to open doors for us, but before we can do anything or certain things start to happen in a good way, we have to first sacrifice certain things to Eshu. And many people call them different things, what have you. And again, other religions will start to claim them this, that, and the other. Once we understand, oh, I could talk about that, that's not a problem. If you're having trouble getting a job, you have to go to Eshu, you have to give them palm oil, rum, you need to give them a rooster, a live animal, or a goat. It depends upon what the situation might be in your life. Oh, I can talk about that, that's not a problem. If people are ready to hear that, I can talk about that. That's not a problem, because that is my life. I wouldn't go so far as saying part of it. That is my life. Because I've learned to understand. I've had to stand back and be that person, like anybody, to observe. And once you see something happening in front of you, and you do certain things, or certain things are done for you, and you start to see, and someone will say, oh, you believe in that? You believe it's cold outside? You don't see the cold, but you can feel it. Oh my God, it's so hot out here. Oh my Lord. You can't see the heat, but you can feel it. You can, some things you don't see. Okay, you see the water, you see the snow, but when you see the difference in the temperatures, you don't see. You see the outcome. You see what the freezing air can do. You see what the hot sun can do. Then you see, make you stop to think about it. Then you don't want to be so Americanized, so I will say, so show me. I don't believe. Because a lot of times that's what happens. We get wound up in a person's philosophy, the society that we live in. When I was going to Africa, I found myself, I had to stop myself acting like a white person over there. And we do it unconsciously. We come up with the why and how comes instead of going along with the program. And because we question everything instead of paying attention and learn. See, the way our minds have been twisted and turned, how we go about learning, how we go about doing things, everybody is different. The oral tradition, you're taught this, and you go ahead and you do this. But we're taught to ask, not to accept it on face value. You have to ask the question, well, like, how come it's cold? That's a science. How come it's cold? How come it's hot? But you can't see the heat. All you can do is see what the heat will do in the cold, what it will do. You see what it does, but you can't see it for itself. You feel it. That spirit, that's that African spirit. You feel certain things. You have to be ultra sensitive. Not really. Everybody see and feel and see for themselves. Was I always of this belief? No, I wasn't. My statement was when I was about 14, 15, whatever, I wasn't going to bother none of this if it didn't bother me. I wasn't concerned. But things, an event made me be aware. And when I was shown and given the opportunity to learn or to experiencing before I was given the opportunity to learn, to experience certain things, I became a real good believer.
Yeah, I understand. I had to experience some things, some things that you sent me. So I got one more question for you before we get out of here. This comes from Oni from the pro-black perspective. He want to know how you feel about fascism and democracy and what needs to be done in Haiti.
Say that question again.
He wants to know about fascism and democracy and what needs to be done in Haiti.
Those are three questions.
My bad. They just ran them together. I'm just putting them on here like he put them on.
No. I'm not criticizing. I'm not criticizing. What needs to be done in Haiti? If I were to say my truth and what I felt and what I feel need to be done in Haiti, it'd be said that I'm being prejudiced.
It's okay. I'm gonna tell you something. It's okay to be prejudiced or racist over here on my channel.
I don't care.
I don't care.
It happens with any. Seems like has happened to black people, no matter where we are. There's certain curses that have been put upon us that we're having to deal with, that we haven't been able, or we don't have the knowledge yet to undo. It could be the curse of greed, curse of power. And once you have the knowledge of certain things, you subdue another man's right to live. A lot of that happens in Haiti, a lot of island nations, and a lot of times it happens even here. You don't want the other person to have the right to live, eat. And so therefore, you do things and put them in poverty. And you say, well, how long does that have to go on? Until people as a people learn not to do that to one another. And will they ever learn? I do not know. Because Haiti is just a microcosm of what the world is about. It just happens to stand out because they're black. And they have so many reaches and good resources over there. This is what people do or have done to them. As well as they've done it to themselves to a great degree. Democracy, that's a word. That's an interesting word, democracy. That changes just like somebody changing underwear. It's the laws of the land, or the laws change. They call it a democracy. I sit back now and I look at it and I often wonder, what is it? What is it's a word that's used, and it's played with and it's toyed with. To the meaning, if there is a true meaning, it escapes so many of us. It's almost like living and believing in what do you call Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy. You believe in certain things, and all of a sudden the rules change. Democracy, the rules are always changing to whoever's in power. constantly changing. And fascism, that too is and I was gonna say that too is ignorance. That too is interesting because it's not a big difference between that and democracy. It depends upon who is holding the ball or playing the game. Who's ball? Okay, in the football game, okay, if it's overtime, flip the coin. What you got, heads or tail? It depends upon who controls the ball first and how they're controlling it. People are living in many ways with fascism. And when you wake up and you say, "Oh, that's that," they're afraid to hear the word Mussolini. They hear the word in the back of their head. It's Mussolini. They hear, "Oh, Hitler." They hear certain things that frighten them because the truth of it is they do not let it play out because whoever's in control, that's what's true, and they call it whatever they want to call it. It becomes religion, it becomes politics, and it gets intertwined. That's what they say. You're supposed to separate church and state, and religion and state and what have you. It's supposed to be separate, but they intertwine it. We're at a point right now where in this country we're living under a cloak of fear. Which one of those gentlemen are going to become president of the United States? One said, "I'm going to make this a dictator, whether you like it or not." The other one said, "Oh no, you're not." So we're living in a way of fear. Those that live in New York, around New York, you can't travel those train stations. 20, 30, 40 years ago, train station was no big deal. Now they got cops down there. They got the National Guard at Penn Station with guns, big guns, because people are crazy, going crazy. I don't know why. They're going nuts.
Hey, you know something? What you just said, my homie sent that to me today, and I'm going to tell folks what I told them again. That movie Bushwick, when they attack, the first people they going to attack, they going to control the black folks that have no way of defending themselves. Only it is here. You didn't want to listen to me, though. They going to control the black people that have no way of defending themselves. They done told y'all, don't get guns, don't get guns. Guns are bad, guns are bad. That's New York. There's all that stuff on the East. I told you on it, if you ever start seeing stuff like that, it's going to be up that way. You ain't want to listen, though. You ain't want to listen. Just like I told you, you trying to get away from him. What going to happen? If it happened before you go. Don't nobody want to listen to me, though. I be trying to tell you what's going to happen. I keep telling y'all I'm a seer. I keep telling y'all what's going to happen. Y'all keep ignoring me. Then when it happened, y'all be like, damn. I keep telling y'all I'm a seer. I was blessed with this. I was learned from the time I was a little bitty boy to understand these things. Don't just look at the surface of things. I told y'all.
I don't know about the rest of the country, but we're living in a police state, and they say not, but every time they get a chance, you see more of it come about, a police state.
Yeah. And they're going to be up there where black people and nobody else can really have guns. I only don't want to hear that part, though. See, y'all been running from that conversation from me for years. Well, it's here now, on it. It's here now. But I'm going to say again on it, because you my homie. Whenever you and your son ready to leave New York, I know a 50 cent Roach Motel up the street I'll set y'all up in for a little while so y'all can be okay. Well, your son can stay here, but I'm going to tell you like you told me, you can't stay at my house. But your son can stay over here with me on it, but you can't stay at my house. That's what you told me when I come to Africa. You can't stay at my house. So on it. Your son can stay here, but you can't.
Well, let me just say this to everybody. Guns are good, okay? And who has the biggest gun rules? But whoever understands spiritual things. See, you talked about the what do you call the Masons. Whoever has control of that knowledge, call it masonry, Freemasonry, call it Ifa. Whoever has knowledge is power. And knowledge overrides a lot of things. I can take two things and go into a courtroom and win my case, or go someplace where there's two things, two herbs, and drop it, and it'll work. And I'm not talking about High John or St. John and all that other business.
And you know what, Pop Benny, I believe that. But
I've done it.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. I believe it. But sometimes the spirit tells you.
It's your knowledge of what you know and how you use what you know.
Yeah, but we can have that knowledge, and I'm gonna just say, like, they guns be working against us.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna say something again about a gun. Gun is ruled by the Orisha Ogun. And you can say that's Ogun is a gun. The Orisha Ogun is the same one as he's cut buddies with Eshu. If you have a gun, you're gonna have to use them. He's gonna make you use them. You're not gonna just put them up somewhere and not use them. That's where sometimes accidents come and this, that, and the other happen. A gun is Ogun, is an Orisha. It has a mind and a life of its own. That's why they say sometimes if you got money, it's burning a hole in your pocket. If you don't know how to use your money correctly, you can't hold on to it. But if you have a gun, you better understand a lot of principles of a lot of things, because that gun is going to make you use them.
You're right.
If you got a knife, that knife is going to come out of your pocket. It's going to make you use them. Anything metal and iron belongs to Ogun. That's Africa, okay?
And that's why the Africans supposed to have that metal and iron. That's why we supposed to have it. That's my take on it. Now, everybody might not have the same take I have. But I'm gonna get off of here, Pop Benny. I ain't trying to rush you off. You got something else you want to say, you can continue.
No. Listen, I'm always appreciative of being invited. I'm not running anything. You say let's go, I say how far.
But you know, we gonna be about oh my goodness, I hate when I stutter. Ooh. We will be back next week. That never happened to me when I turned 21. I remember when it happened. Whew. I hate that.
What happened?
When I started stuttering. I can laugh at it at the same time, but I still hate but I still.
I'm gonna say something to you and anybody else that might stutter. It's like an hourglass. It's like, and it has a lot to do with your birth signs and what have you might be. It's like an 8. It's when your mind is moving quicker than you're able to deliver it out of your mouth. Now, see, you're Capricorn. That's ruled by Saturn. That's a number 8. So your mind is very fruitful. But to get it through the process of your mind down that little thin part called, what it might be, your mouth to get it out, it gets caught. And when it gets caught, it starts, everything will come out at one time. And because it's like, for me, I'm a number 3. I'm a 12, I'm a 3. And I can talk just as easy like smooth wine or smooth liquor going down. No problem. Okay, that's air going down. But that earth, that Capricorn, and sometimes it's Taurus, it depends. I show that to people. That's why the stuttering will come. Because you're trying to get it all out. There's so much you got to say, but it can only come out a little bit at a time. It can't just rush out like I can keep talking about it, and going and going and keep going and move to the next one. You have a thought, and you might have many thoughts, just like I do. For it to get out of your mouth as it's coming into your mind, that's the hardest, it's a hard thing to do. And that's because, again, Capricorn ruled by 8. So I don't know who the 26th, I don't know who the 17th might be, or who the 8th might be, who's the Capricorn. See, my friend there, he's a 10, so I'm the 10th, but you're still ruled by 8. You're ruled by Saturn. You're ruled by that Capricorn. So you want to say something, sometimes you have to write it down or read it, or when you start talking real fast, it comes up, And someone might not understand you because you're trying to get it all out. That's all important to get out.
Or I can talk like this and it will all come out. That's what they told me in speech when I went to speech therapy. I'm like, shit, man, I'd rather stutter. I said, I'd rather stutter than sound. I said, I'd rather stutter than me walking around. I asked the doctor, like, what woman you think would talk to me if I walk up to you? What is your name? My name is. I'm like, man, I'd rather stutter. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to nobody who speak like that, but I'm just saying for me, that wouldn't shit. That would.
That's see the thing of this. You have to slow it down, but at the same time, not like that. You have to get like they used to have with the records, the RPMs of 78 RPM, 33 and 45. Each one had a different speed, but when you put it on whatever gear, it all came out the same. So you'll find that speed in which to speak it, and you get it out, no problem.
Oh, it's all right. I know you know that don't bother me on it when people say that because I did go to speech class, but that's how they told me to speak. What's up, Bwana Hagaziki? That's how I would have been. It don't bother me. It don't even bother me when people laugh when I stutter because I laugh.
Listen, and I'm telling you why you do. It's not so much the fact that you do. I can tell you why, and when we get off there, I'm gonna tell you what you can do, maybe to help you out, so it won't happen. I've had many teachers. I've been blessed, fortunate. I don't use that word often, but I've been very fortunate to have been covered or have so many different hands put their hands on this child to rock them or whatever. It was no more than pass me to the next. They pass from this life to the next, and I have to find my way because I'm determined to get the knowledge.
I need to look deep at what consider. Hey, but look, it's about time for us to get off of here. You got anything you want to say to them? You're going to tell them to see you next week or something like that and tell them to come through with more questions?
Listen, good people, God spare life. I hope he spares all of our lives. We see each other, hear each other again next week. So with questions, even like I said to Bugara, I said, everybody likes to listen, but everybody's willing to ask a question now. That's the only way we're going to find out. Teach me too. I want to know too. Challenge my mind. Yeah. I've got no problem because I'm not a book of knowledge. I just happen to have reference seemingly that goes on and on and on and on. But yeah, till we see one another next week, may God bless everybody and take care of everyone. Be good to yourself.
Before you hang up, I'm going to say this to the chat. You see how y'all were engaged tonight and y'all was asking questions, especially when he brought up Hebrew and all that. This is what the Bible wants. He wants us to ask questions so we can learn. And I know it didn't bother him when I said I don't know about that because they give him an opportunity to teach. So I know when we talk, he's gonna be telling me that he was glad that y'all was interactive tonight, asking questions. What's going on, Brother Roll? I just wanted to say that because I know that he wanted he want those questions. Any questions? If he can't answer them today, he'll have an answer for you next week.
Yeah, knowledge is a flow. Knowledge is like a river, an ocean, constant flow and constant in motion. So we teach one another. We show one another. We bring bread pudding, rice pudding, a little piece of apple pie. I don't eat fried chicken. My here's some fried chicken. Here's some watermelon. All that. Come on, we're gonna have a little something to eat here while we're talking.
Yeah.
Let it be fun. Let it be fun. Because somebody here is somebody's father, somebody here is somebody's grandparent. If not now, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, the next day. There's another generation coming that I will never see. That I can probably, well, I might, and who knows. But people that I don't know. Talk to them. Gather up information. If you don't want to bring them to where you are, get their point of view and let it be a point of view that you won't get an answer to. But knowledge is power.
Yes,
knowledge is power. You can never learn enough. Never. Trust me. When you have knowledge, you rule the world. And I'm going to leave it on this note. Nas, he said, if I could rule the world, now Nas didn't come up, and I didn't come up in Nas' body. He said, I wasn't in Nas' generation. Nas could be my kid. and my son had it on the radio. I listened to Nas sing that song, If I Could Rule the World. I cried. Tears came to my eyes because that was nothing but prophecy. He said, if I could rule this world, if I could rule the world, if I knew now, if I knew then what I know now, how it goes, I'd rule this bad boy. I'll be polite. I'd rule this bad boy. Really, I would. And that's what all the powers would be, afraid of what you know, how well you know it, and how well you're going to put it forth. I could rule the world. What I do? Man, please. Anyway, everybody, good night. Have a good one. Hope to hear somebody next week or how we worked. We're good. Pagari, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to tell you what to do with that stuttering.
All right.
All right. Good night, everyone. Take care now.
Yeah, we'll be back in about 30 minutes on here live. I was going, but my stuttering needs to stop for a minute, so give me 30 minutes. But we coming back. We got a couple things that we're going to discuss. I hope 12 L's come back because she's talking about reparations. But I got something I want to discuss. I saw people talking about Pat Benny is a good guy. Talking about the students at the HBCU inside of the White House or Kamala Harris' home, wherever the hell it was. I'm a seer. So I'm going to tell y'all what a seer see. But until next time, until another 30, 45 minutes. Peace out. If it let me close out. Oh, there we go.